I'm excited to start building something that's going to extend the growing season and build something that's going to prevent rabbits and birds and voles and moles and squirrels and whatever else from getting into my raised beds where I put all this hard work. Okay, so here's our completed frame, and in the summertime it can look like this. Now it doesn't really look very different, so let me show you. We've got the bird netting on now, and this is what you can have in the winter. Have this covered hoop house. Let's do this thing. Grow, grow, grow! That's what I'm excited to do this year. Start a garden here in the front yard with these raised beds and work towards raising 100% of our own food. I love supporting local businesses. I especially like supporting companies with products made in the US. There's a place in town where I'm able to buy high quality produce. The only problem is that's running me about $54 a week just for myself to have greens that I want. Now it's worth it to me in the sense that I know that it's gonna be a higher quality produce than non-organic or even some organic stuff at the grocery store, but that's like $216 a month, and greens really aren't that hard to grow. So I have these raised beds, but it's winter. And the growing season here where I am in the Ozarks is better than where we were in Colorado, but there's still limitations of time. So I'm excited to start building something that's going to extend the growing season and build something that's going to prevent rabbits and birds and voles and moles and squirrels and whatever else from getting into my raised beds where I put all this hard work. Okay, so I just cut my PVC. I used a reciprocating saw. This Sawzall guy. It worked all right, but a circular saw would probably be easier, or if you have one at a table, that would be even easier. But I determined that I would need 4 pieces that are 44 inches in length and 2 pieces that are 43 inches in length for my particular bed, which is 6 cinder blocks long and a cumulative 3 cinder blocks wide, 2 full cinder blocks and 2 halves. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble this and lay it out with the 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch hooks, 3/4 inch tube straps that I'm going to use to secure it to the cement blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble that. So these are the PVC pieces I'm using at the corners. I forget what they're called, but they're in the supply list. But they are 1/2 inch, just kind of a corner, I guess. And then I'm using the 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch PVC T in the middle as a support for the loop that's going to go across the middle. Is for me to use the PVC cement and secure the PVC into this rectangular frame. And then we'll see how short I can make the pieces for the arches. I'm not sure how much pressure the PVC can take, but first we gotta glue it and find out. Now I'm going to be working on experimenting with how short the pieces can go. So I confirmed a 5-foot piece will fit. It is tight, but it works. I'm going to go ahead and cut another PVC in half to use on these last 2. Well, we're losing daylight, but this is coming along. I got that PVC piece across the middle with a nut and bolt on both sides. Next up, securing it to the bed. So I'm gonna go grab some screws and use these 3/4 inch tube straps and a masonry bit this time to go ahead and secure it. Now to mitigate that bowing that's happening from side to side because it's PVC and PVC can flex, I think I'm gonna go ahead and install some, I think it's about 21 1/4 or 21 3/4 inch pieces of scrap PVC to kind of anchor that like I did here in the middle. So I got that beam up and I definitely pulled it down. There's still a gap of maybe 3/4 of an inch down there, but hey buddy, I was able to get this eye hook screwed into the cement and into the corner brace there. So there is a gap, but I'm not worried about it because I can put some insulation in there that we happen to have. But as you can see, without the support over here, this side comes up quite a bit, about 4.5, 5 inches or so. Hi, my name is Junebug, and if you liked my mom's video, can you just like it down below? That'd be great. Thanks. I love you. Okay, so this is day 7,000. No, I'm just kidding. It hasn't been that long, but it's been a while since I've worked on projects. We have 4 young kids, and so projects come when they can come. Normally, Jared gives me a day off every week to be free from responsibilities and kids, and I give him a day off every week. So normally it's on my day off that I do projects like this. Normally I have Thursdays off, and the past several Thursdays have been the worst weather of the entire week. But we have a babysitter today, and she is hanging out with the kids, and we get a chance to have a project date. So I get to have my beloved with me today. Whenever I talk, the rooster's like, I want to talk. I hear you. So next up, we're going to put a support on this back hoop of the PVC. And as always, got my trusty sidekick here. Hello. Ah, good girl. Here he is! Come on over!
Hi.
You ready for a project date?
Yeah.
Yay. And here I've got some 2-inch nuts and bolts that I'm threading through both 1/2 inch piece to make the support. So I'm going to go ahead and take the eye hook over here and the eye screw, we were thinking is what it's called, and go ahead and move it here to the middle. I don't want to put 2 hooks on both. I don't want to put a hook on both sides. So I'm going to move it here to the middle just so it's more centralized. And this bird netting is 14 feet by 14 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and work on cutting that probably about 66 inches again for the for the width, and I need to measure the length. Here I'm going to be measuring the length that I need to cut the plastic sheeting. So I'm going to measure, of course, across the length of the top plus both sides. 137 inches. I'm slowly learning to measure twice and cut once. So we're gonna put it over this, make sure it looks good, and then cut it. You gonna help us? Well, thank you. Okay, so here I'm gonna just trimming this thing in half. Thankfully, it was already perforated at every 3 feet, so all I have to do is cut it down the middle. It's 6 feet 2 inches on one side and 6 feet 1 inch on the other side, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, so here's our completed frame, and in the summertime it can look like this. Now it doesn't really look very different, so let me show you. I've got the bird netting on now. And then I installed this piece of baling twine so that I can open it up just like James did in his original model, so that if the wind picks up, it's not going to fling all the way off. So as you can see, I have the clamps positioned 4 along each long end and then 1 on each end. And then when you're ready to take it off and switch it between summer and fall, or between fall and winter and spring, just pop these off and gently remove it without tearing up your bird netting. Now, one thing Jared just pointed out is that the weakest point is going to be here, where the plastic might start poking through because of the PVC. So I might want to either file that down or put a cap on it, or just even have some tape on it. The other thing is, you can see here, I think I need a few more clamps to secure the ends well. Now, the last thing I would change if I could is to go ahead and put a PVC across the top as a support. I had actually intended to do that, but I glued the pieces in before threading on my 3/4 inch tees over the 1/2 inch PVC. So that's definitely something I think I would change, and I will definitely do on the next one. So hopefully it won't cause me too many problems not to have that. Okay, so the PVC convertible hoop cover is done. Convertible from plastic sheeting in the winter to bird netting in the summer. I hope this is a great addition to your homestead. So I really enjoyed this project. I loved being able to work with Jared right there at the end. I loved that it was relatively uneventful as far as unexpected problems. Made a few unintentional errors along the way, but the next one's gonna be even better. Thanks for watching. Bye.